welcome to the Not So Late Show. We've got a great show in store for you tonight with special guest David Hayter. Plus, a musical performance from Nessy The Rilla. Without further ado, please welcome your host, Crypto Kyle.
All right, guys, welcome everyone to the very first Not So Late Show. We've been working hard to bring this show to you, and we're so excited to share it with you. We know you've been waiting for a long time, and we hope you'll kick back and relax and enjoy the show. We've got a great lineup of guests, so sit back, relax, and, just chill. Just chill. Sit back and chill, I guess.
I think I can do that.
What am I trying to say, John?
I think I can do that. And I think the audience at home can join us in just a little bit of relaxation after the long, long wait.
Oh, my gosh. John, it's so good to hear your voice, man. I know you're not feeling 100%, but thank you for being here, buddy.
So excited for this, man.
Oh, same, man. I'm so pumped. I obviously want you to feel 100%, but guys, John has been by my side for over a year now, which is hard to believe. We formerly had a show together, and we won't get into that, but it's just good to have him. He's a good guy, and you guys are going to love him as much as I do, and as much as anybody else that knows him by the end of this show, and as you get to know us throughout the season.
You're too kind. Too kind.
Can you believe we're here, though, man? Can you believe it?
It's been a long road. A year feels like a decade in some ways, but hey, I'm ready to rock and roll on a whole new adventure.
Man, the band sounds good tonight, don't they, John?
Sounding in tune and ready to rock.
Man, Juan has been practicing with the Not So Late band for over a year now. Just over a year, about a year and 2 weeks. He doesn't have his voice. He's shaking his head right now and kind of laughing because my friend is from Argentina, and he literally lost his voice and has been gone for nearly a month, but he's still here playing the hell out of that saxophone and strumming that guitar. So we really appreciate your dedication, Juan. It's darn hard to be matched for sure.
Yeah, well, just wait until the crowd hears his singing when he comes back. It's like an opera. The operatic.
He just shrugged his shoulders. He's not signed up for singing. Oh, he's texting me now.
I'm going to get it.
Sorry, buddy. We'll talk about details later. Well, guys, we hope that you enjoy the show. It's absolutely insane that we're here again, the premiere episode. So thank you for being here. You guys are all legends. But for those of you who don't usually hang out with me and John on Thursdays, you don't know what we do every third Thursday of the month. John, it's your favorite thing. You remember?
Oh, man. I have so many favorites, Kyle. Why don't you remind me?
Yeah. Well, every third Thursday of the month, we always we go through my voicemails because I usually have just so many, and I don't like to listen to voicemails.
Oh my God, they're incredible.
And so John's just my backup. But amazingly, John, today I only have one. But I guess nobody loves me, so we'll listen to my voicemail. Dial it in here. Let's go.
Hey, man. I just want to say, I'm just a big fan of your show, and just I don't know, I have my friend over here, he's just yelling and stuff,
Hey, is that guy, Kyle? Hey, is that guy with the show?
Yeah, man, it's chill out, man. He's just over here freaking out.
Hey, give me the phone. Hey, Kyle. This is Peter Griffin, and I just want to say that maybe you should not do this. Maybe you should just buy Bitcoin or something. But
good advice.
I'm not a fan of the show. I'm not trying to be a hater or FUD like the kids say, but I usually shake it like a salt shaker, and I keep it real like the kids say. But this may not be it. But have a good one, I guess, buddy.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's a great way to start off the show. Remind me to purge my voicemails before we go live, I guess, the next third Thursday of the month.
You didn't have Carl take a look at those, make sure they were okay before we went live?
Carl's definitely supposed to screen my voicemails. But, well, you guys heard it here. No secrets. We're transparent as all I get, and I guess. And there you go. So there you have it. Thanks, I guess. Have you seen the news today, John?
Gosh, I've been so busy and there's so many stories.
Same. Me either. But what I can tell you is last Thursday, something unbelievable happened. So on our first segment of the show, and the only time we'll ever do this, except for maybe during holidays, we have last Thursday tonight. So the Swedish center-right government apparently is tired of all the red tape surrounding dancing and have decided to cut loose, literally. No more need for permits to let patrons shake their booty in restaurants, nightclubs, and other venues. The proposal made on Thursday of last week means venues can now boogie without the need for a license. Instead, they just have to register with the police, which can be done verbally and won't cost you an arm and a leg. So grab your dancing shoes and get ready to cut a rug without any bureaucratic interruptions. Man, I gotta say, John, I don't feel real good about the verbal agreements.
Yeah,
I feel like those don't usually work out too well.
How do you, what do we, I guess they got the body cams, we got records now, but one day you made a verbal agreement, the next day they're kicking the door and then it's footloose. No one's allowed to dance anymore.
Oh my. Absolutely. So John, I don't know if you've seen this, buddy, but have you heard about the pregnancy nose?
Can't say I have, but I'm sure you're going to fill me in.
I try my best for sure. Say goodbye to your dainty little nose. Hello, pregnancy nose. This is the latest trend on social media as parents have been showing off their before and after baby photos of their nose. TikTok users are using the hashtag pregnancy nose. I don't know why I'm having a hard time saying that tonight. And are trying to figure out how their noses become honkin' hooters during and after pregnancy. Carl, why did he write this? Even celebrities like Sin Santana and Chrissy Teigen have shared their own experiences with the pregnancy nose phenomenon. But don't worry, it's not just you. Pregnancy nose is a real symptom caused by an increase in blood flow. So expect a little puffiness or swelling on that cute little nose of yours, John.
Wow, well, it's good to know what to expect when expecting, right? So thanks for that.
Well, you know what they say. Mom knows best. So, John, I don't know if you knew this or not, but Carl, he's our booking manager. He started writing.
Love Carl. Great guy.
Yeah, Carl's a good guy. He started writing. Did you know this? He started writing a blog.
I'm not surprised. Let me tell you. I'm not surprised. I didn't know it, but I am not surprised. He's a multi-talented man.
He's pretty good. So I just want to read you. I don't know if you remember a couple weeks back, the lizards were freezing. They're talking about them adapting and all this. Carl wrote this article. It's absolutely insane. And here's the news from Carl's eyes. Looks like city living ain't no thing for these lizards. Researchers have discovered that lizards that once called the forest home are now thriving in urban areas thanks to some genetic adjustments. The Puerto Rican crested anole, known for its brown body and bright orange throat fan, has developed special scales to cling to its smooth surfaces like walls and windows, and grown larger limbs to sprint across open areas. It's like we're watching a superhero origin story unfold, said Kristen Winchell, a biology professor at NYU. And the main author of the study, with urbanization on the rise, it is important to understand how organisms adapt and how we can design cities to support all species. The study analyzed 96, am I saying this right? The lizards, comparing the genetic makeup of forest dwellers to those living in Puerto Rico's capital, San Juan, as well as the northern city of western city of Mayaguez. Scientists found that 33 genes within the lizard genome were repeatedly associated with urbanization. Yeah, nice.
I got a question. Did Carl try to reach out to the Geico lizard for comment on this?
I don't know. That'd be a great guess, though.
He's usually the star of my lizard universe. So
yeah, that's true.
He'd be a great guest. I'm gonna have a talk with Carl later.
Yeah, that sounds good. We got to get Carl. Carl's got to get to work. Wow. So UPI.com in with a story here. fresh today. A British library said a patron will not be charged late fees of approximately $52,400 after returning a book that was 58 years overdue.
Hi.
Wow, that's insane. Mr. Hickman, 76, said he checked out the book called The Law for Motorists from the Dudley Library in 1964 when he was preparing to go to court to defend himself against a minor traffic charge. Hickman said the book proved to not be very useful in the case, and he ended up paying a minor fine for the driving incident without due care and attention. But yeah, he said the book came with him when he moved to London in 1970. And he used to come across it now and then and think, I must pop back next time I'm in Dudley.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm still on the run from a fine in a little town outside of Albany, New York.
Oh my gosh.
And let me tell you, I'm never going back to New York.
Hey, those second edition Ernest Hemingways don't come cheap.
They'll have to pry the $52,000 out of my cold hands.
Also in the news, NPR.org coming in with a hot take. Golden age for non-alcoholic beers, wine, and spirits. Because nothing says, let's get wasted like not getting wasted at all. John, I don't know if you saw this, man. It's been a tough year, man. It's been a tough year. Game of Thrones NFT collection. Have you seen this?
I did, unfortunately.
It's absolutely brutal. I gotta say, my favorite comments here, man, this one guy, he says, almost as bad as the last episode of Game of Thrones. Look at my man's hands. The other guy said, why's my man's hands look like salad fingers?
It's funny you say salad fingers, man.
That was a classic.
That's a blast from the past.
Marjorie Stewart Baxter. You taste like sunshine dust. Classic case. Farmer Nash, he says, classic case of multi-million-dollar company completely blowing their chance to tap into a rapidly developing markets. If Game of Thrones actually committed more time, thought, and resources into the NFC art, they could have been massively rewarded in the future. Wow.
What are you taking? Let's say I offer you 5 Game of Thrones NFTs or 5 of those Donald Trump NFTs. What do you think holds value longer?
I'll take a pack of Capri Suns.
Good answer.
Those last almost as long as Twinkies. All right, and first I'd like to introduce you all to our very first guest, the man, the myth, the legend, from writing screenplays for X-Men, X-Men United, and Watchmen, and being one of what I believe to be the most loved and recognizable voice actors of all time in the role of Solid Snake from the Metal Gear series, and most recently credited as the executive producer of Season 2 of Warrior Nun, the highest rated series in Netflix history, Mr. David Hayter. Welcome to the Not So Late Show. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Man, thank you for being here. Huge fan. Lots of things to cover. Bucket list of people to meet and talk to. So we really appreciate you taking some time out of your day to spend with us.
Well, you're too kind. I'm afraid the reality doesn't match up to the legend.
First of all, I just want to give you your flowers. You were so instrumental to the shaping of modern day storytelling, Marvel Cinematic Universe, comic book era movies, what have you, which at one point seemed like something that was so far from reality, and it's really just taken over the theaters for this huge string of years that you kicked off by creating a screenplay for 2 excellent movies right off the bat. How has it been seeing that work carry on?
Yeah, it's pretty astounding and just an amazing era to be a fan in. It's so cool, as you say. It used to be just us with our comic books, and people that didn't read them didn't get it, and now the world gets it. And that was sort of my pitch to Fox when we were making X-Men. I was like, there's so much potential in these stories that hasn't been explored and can go out to larger audiences. So it's very cool that happened. And as you say, when I was 15, the X-Men comics used to say soon to be a major motion picture. And I remember like looking at that and thinking, boy, whoever takes that on better not screw it up. And then it turned out to be me. So that was a pretty amazing event in my life.
Yeah, that's incredible. I got to ask, how did you find your way being even in that position to write the screenplay for X-Men? This is 2000 by the time the movie comes out. This is precursor to even the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films. This was one of a kind type chance to explore these characters.
Yeah, nobody knew. In fact, everybody thought it was going to be a disaster, and the studio wasn't very confident in it. And it's a long story. I've told it many times, but essentially, I was working on X-Men, answering the phones, and the creative team kept complaining about the script and saying it's just not right, and nobody understands the X-Men. And I was such a fan that I said to the director, I was like, look, I know the X-Men, and suggested some ideas to him, just trying to help out the movie. And then he started having me do rewrites on the script. It's just unheard of. I had never written a professional screenplay before, or I had never been paid to write a screenplay before. I had written before, but this was my first writing job. And it really came out of my deep love for comic books and for the X-Men characters. That love was very genuine, and so that came through in the way that we told the story. I was extraordinarily lucky to be in that place at that time with that sort of knowledge of the world. And even so, what happened with me ending up getting sole credit on the movie should have never happened. It's just one of the most ridiculous Hollywood stories of all time. After it came out, my friend Chris McQuarrie called me and he said, do you realize you're the most successful first-time screenwriter in film history? And I was like, no, I didn't realize that. Pretty cool.
Definitely. I mean, now going forward a few years with Watchmen, I believe you composed one of the most beautiful and, dare I say, dang near perfect love letters to fans of the original work. Absolutely beautiful screenplay.
Thank you.
Honestly, it's one of my favorite movies of all time, and I have to believe that anybody who's trying to do a multi-character story well is looking at these films to learn how to stay true to the original pieces of work. And again, I just wanted to give you some flowers on those.
I'll take those flowers.
As you should. Now, moving into present day, talking about Warrior Nun, the series, man, season 2, absolutely incredible. What a great show. And again, here we are with another multi-character storyline that you seem to be at the helm of. Now, why you're at the helm of all these great pieces of multi-characters, I don't think is a mistake. And I appreciate that because it's hard to do. To add depth to multiple people and not get lost in a character is really a feat.
It's true. The key was, and the first time I did it was on X-Men, and so what I did was I isolated each character, and just like I would go through the script and say, okay, I'm just going to read Storm's lines, or I'm just going to read Cyclops' lines, and see if they had a proper character arc all the way through. And when you take them in isolation like that, you can see, oh, she's here in the beginning and then she's here in the end, but there's no real transition for that, or whatever the problems are, and you identify them, and it's about being rigorous, and you make sure that for each character, you create a journey for them, and then as you do that, you start to realize, oh, well, this journey reflects what's happening with this character, so maybe they should have a scene where they sort of bounce off each other, and that's basically how I take on a multi-character piece, is just making sure that each one is living their own individual movie, or at least they're experiencing life and learning things along the way as much as anybody else.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Even you just saying that, I can think of a few movies that come to mind where maybe 3 characters had a really good character arc, but one fell apart, and that person, they sat on the longest, maybe because they didn't know what to do with that character.
Yeah, or you think, oh, well, it's just a side character, so they don't really need to change or go through anything, but that's just kind of lazy. And just saw Bodies, which I loved. And I was so impressed with the writing of each individual character. Each one was sketched out and interesting and their own unique person. And so often, especially in a horror movie or about young people, they're all the same, or They're all going through the same thing. Ty West's X was the same way. That really a lot of work went into shaping each individual character. To any screenwriters out there, that's the way you do it, and you don't want to skimp on those side characters, because that's what makes the movie interesting.
Absolutely. Now, with a show like Warrior Nun, I imagine it can be challenging to address issues of faith and religion tied in with this added infrastructure of a story, but it also adds this sense of realism on the other side of things for viewers who grew up with some sort of understanding of religion, whether they were religious or not. I'm curious, how has the response been to the use of faith as a central theme in this story, and how has it been to develop the characters in relation to these issues of faith?
Well, it was just a really rich and deep well of opportunity, because, as you say, everybody in the world knows about religion, primarily about the Catholic Church, but it's about religion in general, it's about faith in general. And so you immediately have an understanding from everyone in the audience of what you're talking about. So on that front, it's really creatively, it's a great creative opportunity. And for myself, I'm not particularly religious, but we came at the prospect of it, and I didn't want to do something that was like, yeah, we're all warriors for the Catholic Church, because I wouldn't necessarily respect that show. But at the same time, all of the writers, we came at it from the perspective of respecting whatever anybody's choice is in terms of faith. We have Camilla is deeply religious. She's deeply committed to her faith. We came at that from a perspective of a profound respect for her being able to fight for her beliefs. They may not be our belief or my beliefs, or I'll only speak for myself, but may not be my beliefs, but anybody that has a code, a moral code, and is willing to fight for it earns respect from the audience. And we also dug into why each of these women were committed to the church. And we tried to dig out reasons that didn't really have to do with religion per se. Like Beatrice has had trouble in her life being accepted, and this was her discipline in the church was her reaction to the way she's been treated her whole life. And Camilla says she did it for service. And Ava, who's not even religious at all, she does it for her sisters, and she does it because it's her family. So it was really cool to be able to explore it like that. I thought the Catholic Church would come after us and freak out, and I was looking forward to that. I thought, we'll have some controversy, and they'll get mad, and we'll get more viewers, and it'll be a fun debate. But we have nuns who love the show. We didn't get any pushback from the church. I thought that was really cool. And on top of that, we got to put in some really subversive things. Adriel has these speeches about the men who run the church and how they just want you to worship them, and they want you to bow down to whatever they say as if they are the voice of God, and they want you to give them money. And we got to make some serious points about religion and about the church. And amazingly, we did it without really pissing anybody off, which was incredible in this world.
I think it's almost a miracle.
It is.
And 20 years ago, people said, Morgan Freeman's not my God. Gun registration at martial arts facilities across the world has gone way up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was really cool. But I think it's because we did come at it from a place of love. I love all the characters, and I think Adriel's right in a number of ways. And he was just arrogant and got a little up his own ego in a way that probably wasn't healthy.
Yeah, I think the thing I love about his character, he's first introduced to us, he's so scary.
Yeah.
And then you start to see yourself in him a little bit. You just hopefully not too much.
Well, we've all met up with situations and systems and blocks of people who are against us for one reason or another. And once he explains himself, you're kind of like, I can kind of see where you're coming from.
Yeah, definitely. It's funny too, because a lot of times when you're dealing with characters, or even in the real world, that are they're narcissistic, and not necessarily in a religious setting, but maybe a company or a leader, So people go against that. They address the narcissism, they rebel against it, and so often they become the very thing that they were speaking against to begin with.
Totally. Well, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely, and that's why I love one of my favorite scenes. I'm assuming you've seen it or the podcast. I hope the podcast listeners have seen it. It's not really much of a spoiler, but my favorite scene with Adriel is when he's talking to Vincent and he's trying to choose between the Hugo Boss suit for the modern Messiah or Messiah Classic, go out in the robes. And it's just such an indicator of where his head's at. And it's like watching Elon Musk go from being a cool guy, innovator, to just going with his head right up his ass. Because everybody thinks he's a god, and that goes to your head, and then you lose all sense of perspective. It's the same thing that happens with Dr. Manhattan. He thinks he's becoming God, but he's really just a flawed dude. He's just a guy who's cheating on his girlfriend and throwing intergalactic tantrums because his girlfriend's cheating on him. And yeah, so I love characters like that are making mistakes, not because they're necessarily bad people, but because their ego has swallowed them whole.
Yeah, and it goes to show why there's such a love for the anti-hero. Is this person a bad guy, or is he not a bad guy? Is he trying to corrupt us, or is he trying to give us some truth that we should probably listen to?
Well, and again, same thing. That's why Magneto is such a great villain, because Professor Xavier is saying, yes, the humans hate us, they fear us, but he's taking the sort of the MLK tack and saying, we have to love our brothers. We still have to live in this world. And Magneto's point is, yeah, but they're trying to kill us. And it's true. And you're like, well, Magneto's kind of got a point. Sometimes you need to fight back. So yeah, that's what makes a great villain.
Before we move forward, I got to ask you, and this is going to be a very hard question. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
What's your favorite episode from season 2?
My favorite episode is 6, which I wrote, because it's so crazy huge. I won't say what happens in it, but like it's so massive and it's so much a movie unto itself that I kept expecting Simon Barry, our showrunner, to say, okay, now we have to cut half of this out. And he never did. And to his enormous credit, he and the crew pulled off just the most insanely huge episode. We're working with like half the budget of, say, an Umbrella Academy, that sort of thing. And I would put that episode up against anything but maybe Game of Thrones. It's just the effort and the scope that went into it. And there's so many fun elements in it, including, I believe, the Hugo Boss scene is in that episode too, which I love.
Yeah, yep. I believe episodes 6 and 7 are my favorite.
Well, 7, it's interesting because 7 is kind of a downer, it's like 7 is when all is lost and there's no hope. And we get a lot of really emotionally affecting scenes, like when Beatrice is telling Ava, there's only one thing you can do, run. And they know they have to separate. They can't be together. She has to just go and hide and leave everything she loves. And it's just really fun scenes to write and to see executed. So beautiful.
I think maybe that's why I liked it so well. Just that the fact that it felt maybe real.
Yeah.
It's not always that the couple gets together at the end of the series or movie or real life.
Yeah.
So it just felt pretty rounded.
It's all, that episode's all about when your options run out and there is no good option left. And what do? Do you fight on? Do you give up? Do you take off? Do you hide? I'm so glad you brought that one up. I like that one too. But I didn't want to say it because I thought people would be like, no, that's too depressing.
It's really good, and obviously just 6, 7, and 8 right into the ending. It just was it was beautifully crafted, and the whole series, nothing was wasted.
Oh, thank you. That was the mandate. I was like, all killer, no filler this season. Like, it's just, we're no dead air. It's just, we're just gonna be hitting the ground running. And my other favorite thing about episode 6 was a scene I came up with production. Like, it was a last minute scene but I realized I wanted to see Mother Superior when she was the warrior nun and how she loses the halo. And so I came up with that whole opening action sequence. And Sylvia DeFanti, who plays Mother Superior, is like one of my favorite people and actresses. She's just astounding. And I just love that scene to death. One of my favorites.
Yeah, she's incredible. There's all the actors and actresses are incredible.
They are.
There's so much depth and emotion to it. You see these people and you believe that they're what they're portraying. And of course that's the goal, but it doesn't always come through as an honest piece of work. That's like Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash can sing a song written by Sting, but you think Johnny Cash lived it.
Yeah, totally. Well, yeah. I mean, it's a good analogy. They're so committed, and the show's so ridiculous at times and so absurd, but they're just always in the reality of the world. And yeah, we're so lucky with that cast. They were amazing.
Yeah, most definitely. Guys, if you haven't watched Warrior Nun, are you living underneath a rock? I mean, get out there, guys. What are you doing with your life? Be sure to start at the beginning and make your way all the way to the end and get out there and hashtag Save Warrior Nun, because it's an incredible series. And I want to know what happens with these characters. You guys have a great team over there, and I just love the way that you're telling these stories. So hashtag Save Warrior Nun. Don't forget.
Yeah, well, agreed. We have such an amazing team, and I hope we tell more. But for people who haven't seen it, it does come to an ending of sorts at the end of season 2. So it's not. There'll be things there will be things that you'll want to know more about, but at the same time, it does feel like a complete story. I think the way it is. So yeah, I appreciate anybody checking out the show. It's done with enormous love. We shot it in Spain. Our locations are mind-bogglingly gorgeous. Our cast is astounding. Our stunt people are astounding. It really, so as you say, we were the best reviewed season of television in Netflix history with 100% Rotten Tomatoes, 99% audience score. And it's a little frustrating when you do something and it all works out perfectly and everybody loves it and then they cancel it. But that's Hollywood, and we just move on to the next.
Yeah, they got the suits and ties involved. They think they know what's best.
They've got internal pressures, and who knows, all the decision-making goes into it. But either way, check it out, and I think you'll be entertained, and that's the important thing.
Yes, absolutely, guys. Be sure to check out Season 1 and Season 2 of Warrior Nun, and get out there and hashtag Save Warrior Nun. It is a great series. Get out there and just congrats to everybody that was involved in that show. You did a great thing. But, David, I couldn't have you on my show and not ask you about Solid Snake. I bet you don't hear that too often, do you?
I do. It comes up now and again.
You wake up in the morning and you're David Hayter. I know that's normal life for you, but that's gotta, man.
No, every day I'm astounded. I'm like, oh my God, I'm still me. That's fantastic.
Oh man. I mean, you're such a huge part of so many people's lives. And, you know, the argument I made when I was a kid, because there was this big war against video games, parents would say, video games rot the brain. But I always say, well, actually, if you're watching TV, you're just watching TV. But if you're playing a game, you're actually working your mind. And that seemed to work.
Yeah.
At least for a little while.
Yeah. You're right. You're solving puzzles, and in the case of Metal Gear, Hideo Kojima is telling you what the state of the world is going to be in the next 10 years. Like each time, genetic advancements, or he's talking about the dangers of AI, or he's talking about the dangers of privatized military companies. Like these are all real things, and you're really getting a lesson in geopolitics that's laid in with this incredible adventure that you're living. So yeah, I would argue that you get as much from playing the Metal Gear games as you do from reading a great book, or it is that other higher-minded people feel is more edifying. In Metal Gear 4, you get a 72-minute cutscene about nuclear politics and privatized military companies, all that stuff. So yeah, people that judge video games are people that can't play video games, that can't figure it and feel shut out by that. Or they feel my kid doesn't want to talk to me because they want to play a video game. be more interesting, and maybe your kids will listen to you.
Yeah, I got to use that. I don't have any kids yet, but when I do, I'm going to be more interesting, I guess.
Be more interesting.
Yeah. And they're definitely going to be playing through the first 4 Metal Gear games by default.
That's just good parenting.
Absolutely. So I got 2 brothers, and they would sit and watch me play through the first Metal Gear game repeatedly. And I must have played that game 20 times all the way through, watching every single cutscene across 2 or 3 years.
Wow.
They would sit there as if it was a movie. And we were all enthralled with the characters and, of course, this mysterious voice on the other side of this. PlayStation 1, hard to believe we're 5 PlayStations later. But it was just such a unique experience, and just the way we were pulled into that story. And, of course, you have this opportunity to be this voice and lend skill and technique to such a beloved character that has spanned now generations. I don't know what I even want to say about it or ask you about it, because it's insane. It's insane that you were such a huge part of our childhood.
Oh, I understand. I get that a lot, because, and the real impact of it, I think, is because you, as the player, are not watching a movie about Solid Snake or a big boss or whomever. You are Solid Snake. You are Big Boss. You're the player, and I'm the player character. And so while you're experiencing, you're moving the guy, you're getting attacked, you're under pressure, and my voice is in your head that whole time. It's like such a weird, hypnotic bonding experience. And I totally get it, because I played all the games and it happens to be me, but in another way, it's not me. I'm also living through Snake. And so when grown men burst into tears when they meet me and they're surprised at themselves, I'm like, it happens. And it happens a lot, because you're having trouble at high school, you're bullying you, or you're having some horrible thing, and you go back home and you play Metal Gear, and you get to be in charge of your life. You get to be a badass. You get to go on these amazing adventures, and I'm right there in your head the whole time. It's an incredible bonding experience. So I always understand why fans are so affected when they meet me. However, to you and to all the fans, I appreciate how affected you are, but there's never any need to be nervous. I don't take it seriously. I love the games as much as anybody, and I don't consider myself a uniquely special human being. I consider myself an extraordinarily lucky human being. But anybody who wants to come up and just say hello, please do it. I was in a restaurant a couple days ago, and this waitress came up to me and she said, I don't normally get into other people's business, but there was a guy here earlier who was freaking out because you're here. And I don't know what you do or who you are or whatever, but he was just going bananas. And I was like, oh, yeah, I get it. But I felt bad that the guy didn't come up and say hello. Sure. Like, come up, say hello, take a picture. I'm not famous enough to be annoyed when people want to say hello. So that's an open invitation.
It's funny, too, because I was talking to my wife earlier today, and I don't really get starstruck. I've met some people, generally just I appreciate your art and I'll see you on the other side type thing. But today I was talking to her and I said, I'm a little nervous. I don't know why, but I am a little nervous. Snake's going to be on the show.
What the hell am I going to do? Well, it's funny. I like I say, I appreciate that, but there's no need. It's all, we're all human beings. In 100 years, we'll all be dead. What's the difference? Sorry, maybe that's too bleak.
No, that's totally fine. I think part of why this game means so much to so many people as well, I know for me, it was our first introduction to good storytelling.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you're the narrator of that. So anyways, a huge fan of what you did over there. Thanks, absolutely incredible. Is there anything you're working on that you can tell us about? And where's the best place to keep up with you so we can keep up with the latest on what you're putting out into the world?
Yeah, Twitter is really my one. I mean, I'm on Instagram as well. I don't use it quite as much, but Twitter's my main outlet to the world. I've sold a movie to Amazon, which the deal is essentially closed. I can't say what it is yet, but it's a very, very cool movie. So hopefully that will be announced shortly, and I'm making a deal on another show, which again I can't talk about, but I will announce that when it's appropriate. Well, so everything's kind of top secret at the moment. There's a lot of things going around. You know, I was really bummed. I was hoping to go back to Spain and shoot Warrior Nun Season 3. And of course, we're hoping that some other streamer will pick it up because our fan base is so passionate and enthusiastic. You know, they're almost up to 5 million Save Warrior Nun tweets. So I'm hoping that comes back. And yeah, it's good to be me. Voicing
definitely.
things now and again. And I'm now a bit of an elder statesman as far as a screenwriter. I'm no longer the youngest guy in the room, and that's cool. I had a meeting yesterday at a management company, and they wanted to introduce me to all the partners, and I went around, and they were like, "This is David Hayter," and all the guys. Now, pretty much every executive I meet has played Metal Gear, and so they're all freaking out. It's a good time to be me. It always has been. Really.
Yeah, definitely. Now, so you're on Cameo right now, and you are absolutely killing it on there.
Yes.
Over 3,000 cameos that you've done. Absolutely insane. And also, you're incredibly gracious on there. I had you do a video for my brother for his birthday, and he just absolutely smashed it out of the park. And he goes, "That sounds like Solid Snake." And I said, "It was Solid Snake."
Oh, awesome. Well, I love it when people do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, thank you for your attention to detail. Did not go missed, and it'll be cherished for a long time. So we appreciate that. Before we let you go, sir, when we were talking about this show back when it was just an idea looming in my head, and I had all these ideas and thoughts of what it should be and what it could be. And again, this is the first episode, but I just thought you'd enjoy this. We talked about who would be there, what it would look like, who's a guest, who would a guest be? And I said, you know what? David Hayter. It'd have to be David Hayter on the show. And of course, now here you are, sir. It's full circle. That was like a year and a half ago. And I didn't know how that would be possible.
I didn't know how it'd be possible to end up writing X-Men or becoming Snakes. Like I say, you just do what you love, and you aim high and chase after your dreams, and you never know what can happen. I'm so glad we got to communicate here.
Yes, absolutely. Again, David, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you. Be sure to check him out on Cameo. Follow him on Twitter. We'll have the links in the notes. And be sure to check out what he's doing, because I know whatever it is, it's going to be great. And we just can't wait to see what you have coming towards us next.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much for having me. I wish you all success with the podcast, and let's do it again sometime.
Sounds good. Well, guys, it's been a blast so far. What a great show, guys. I'm having such a good time. I hope you are as well. The only thing that can make this better would be, of course, some great music, which, luckily, we already have, thanks to Juan and the rest of the team at the Not So Late Band. And Juan, man, you are a trooper. You can't even talk. It's been almost a month now, but you can still play the saxophone like an angel. So moving along, this next guest is a cutting-edge artist making waves in the digital world of Web3 and independent music. Their unique blend of sounds are truly incredible. The cadences, and I just absolutely love this guy. Nessy The Rilla is pushing the boundaries of what's possible in the music industry. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the one and only Nessy The Rilla.
It's been such a long road. I'm gonna make it.
I like that. Yeah. I just touched down in the bay. Catch me big stepping like a debonair. Never really care about what they say. Middle finger to them, that was never there. Stay winning like a warrior. Yelling out Curry with the sin in the air. I'ma get it and I know it. Got me feeling rare cause I am a one-on-one. Can't nobody beat me, no, son. tell them fuck it, but you cannot give up. Yeah, they be sleeping. You just gotta know that there'll be seasons. Sometimes it's like may seem apocalyptic, but you got this, ain't no stopping. Let's go. Can't nobody beat me, no, son. I was made to be me, gotta get it up. Can't get where you want, just off the hoping. Work hard and your time will come. Ever since I've been a kid, I've been a go-getter. Got distracted in the head, I ain't no better. Used to travel in that pack, but the road's severed. Thought that they could hold me down, but they souls feathered. Manifested getting brain in that old Jetta. Overcame a lot of pain, I ain't no cheddar. I done made it through the rain, but my soul's weathered. Then that whole clever. I need a queen, cause I'm a king, need a little redder. If you love her and she need you, better go tell her. Could've kept it if you tried, but my flow with her. And the post stretch. So many times I feel a vibe and they don't measure. But I'm going long. Wasn't even on my mind when I wrote this song. Swear they always trying to fight when they know they wrong. Need to call Bake's nurse, they so heartbroken. Can't nobody beat me, no, son. I was made to be me, gotta get it up. Can't get where you want, just off the hoping. Work hard and your time will come.
Wow, Nessy, man, I really appreciate you being here. That song was fire. Rumor is that this song, just like the lyrics, literally is a one of one. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, of course. So, as you guys know, I will be dropping a one of one collection. And basically, with this one of one collection, it means that there's only one of them, you know? I had a fellow DJ hit me up, you know what I'm saying? Shout out Vegas Nurse. And they wanted to put something together. So, you know, we sat back in the back end and in the trenches and got stuff together. And this is what we came up with, you know? So it's definitely going to be coming out very, very soon.
Man, that's awesome. Well, Nessy, you really are blowing up, you know, as an independent artist on the internet and in Web3. And what you're doing is incredible. The amount of flows and styles that you have is just absolutely insane. So obviously we're a huge fan of you over here at the Not So Late Show. But for people that want to, you know, check out more of your music and plug in with you, where's the best places to do that? Because you know, this is a one of one. You know, where's a song that somebody can get to and get in their own hands?
No, of course. I do have music streaming on all platforms, as well as I have a collection on OpenSea titled As Told by Nessy. So you guys just go to my Twitter and click the pinned tweet. It has all my links right there.
And of course, you know, we have NFT Detroit coming up June 30th through July 2nd, which may seem far away right now, but amazingly, it's going to be here tomorrow. We were just talking about this.
Nah, it's going to be great, man. I get to bring out like 30 different artists from Web3 or just music. It doesn't matter. I get to bring them out and we're going to give them a stage. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be education. It's going to be security. And plus, it's going to be in our beautiful hometown of Detroit.
Absolutely.
So, you know what I'm saying? We get to show all the DJs around and have some activities. And it's going to be
I don't want to let
you
go without mentioning that you are dropping a song tomorrow, as you so often do every Friday, which is absolutely insane. Could you tell me a little bit about the song that you're dropping tomorrow?
No, of course. Yeah, I know I've kind of been lacking on dropping every week. You know how it is trying to balance IRL and being Web3 and a twin dad. Like, it's a lot, guys. So I haven't dropped in about 2 weeks, but I'm excited for this drop. It's called Heaven Knows. And it basically summarizes like, yo, don't worry about what people think. Don't worry about what people may feel from an outside perspective because heaven knows. You know what I'm saying? Heaven knows your thoughts. They know your intentions. They know what you're trying to do and add to the universe. So, you know, you just got to follow your gut, follow your heart, and just know that heaven knows.
Right. Hey, man. Well, I love it. And I can't wait to check it out tomorrow, guys. Be sure to check it out. We'll have the link posted in the podcast notes. You're always welcome here, Nessy. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, all love, family. All love. Appreciate the opportunity.
Give it up for Nessy. What a blast. Check him out. Make sure to check out all his links and plug in, because this guy is doing something amazing, and he's going to be around for a long time. So don't miss out on your chance to get in early.
Hey, appreciate you, Kyle. Appreciate everybody for coming as well.
Absolutely, man. I share Nessy's sentiment. Thanks for being here, everybody. I hope you had a great time. I got to give a special shout out to my team. Carl, man, you're one heck of a guy. Thanks for your booking efforts. I know some people said no, but we'll try to get J-Lo on the show, buddy. We'll try our darndest. Well, I guess you'll try, because that's your job. But anyways, my friend John, what a legend. Feels so good to have you back by my side. My trusty co-host, buddy. Good to have you here. I know you weren't feeling 100%, but just glad that you were able to at least make the premiere. And it just worked out. It worked out. So glad that you were able to make it after all. Juan, I know you can't speak, buddy, but you're still playing that sax like a madman. And we appreciate everything you're doing with the Not So Late band. And shout out to all of you guys and all the work you did over there. And, of course, my friend Mike, you can check out his name in the podcast notes. But Mike, for just writing a killer theme song for the show, guys. The band did a great job. Shout out to them. And last but not least, my buddy Zimmetry. Nick, man, you kill it. You are my tailor. You are my set designer. You are an all-around legend, and you've put so many hours into this show. Probably... I don't know about as many as I have, but you put in a dang lot for sure. And any of the artwork you guys see, the sets, the guests, this is all done by Zim, who was an absolute legend. So shout out to you, buddy. Hard work will pay off in the end. So you guys have a great night. And again, be sure to check out our socials, plug in with us, because we're doing a lot of things. And I'm telling you, if you want to get involved, if you want to be on a show, if you want to be part of a icebreaker, a game, a sketch, or you just want to get shouted out in the space or in the podcast before we shut down an episode, plug in, leave a comment, make it funny. And we will choose some of our favorites to pull in for at least a shout out, if not more. You could even make it onto an episode for one of our games or sketches. So just be sure to get involved, and we'll do our best to keep you guys enthralled and in the action of everything that's going on over here at the Not So Late Show. So once again, guys, thank you so much. Have a great night. We'll see you next Thursday. Juan, go ahead and take it away.
You're pretty good.